Welcome to Summed Up Books, where we click, learn, and repeat. Today, we are diving deep into one of the most talked about books of all time, J.D. Salinger's The Catcher in the Rye. We're not just going to skim the plot, nope. We are going to get inside the head of its protagonist, Holden Caulfield, and figure out what truly makes him tick.
All right, let's start right here. This one sentence, this is basically the key that unlocks Holden's entire view of the world. His story isn't just about some kid wandering around New York City, it's a full-blown crusade against what he sees as a world just drowning in fakeness. And that single word, phony, that's his weapon.
So to really get inside his head, we've broken this down into three main parts. First, we're going to dig into his obsession with phoniness. Then, we'll look at where that obsession comes from, a place we're calling the Museum of the Mind. And finally, we'll see how all of this traps him in this incredible loneliness, which is symbolized perfectly by an unmade phone call.
Okay, first up, Holden's phony detector. Think of it like a special pair of glasses he wears that filters everything, and I mean everything he sees. To him, the entire adult world is just a big stage, and almost everyone on it is just an actor playing a part.
This right here captures the gap that drives Holden absolutely bonkers. Pencey Prep markets itself with this perfect image of fancy guys on horses and building character. But Holden's there, on the ground, and he's like, nope, I don't see any horses. For him, these ads are just the first of many, many lies the adult world tells.
So Holden basically uses the word phony as his personal test for hypocrisy. He slaps that label on any adult who says one thing but does another, or who puts on a big show of kindness without actually feeling it. And he sees it everywhere, from his teachers to his friends' parents.
And you see this play out over and over. You've got Headmaster Haas, who only turns on the charm for the rich parents. Then there's Mr. Ossenberger, who gets rich off of burying people and then tells kids to pray. And Sally's mom, who can only be charitable if she gets a round of applause for it. Holden just can't stomach this stuff. For him, it's a deep moral corruption.
But here's where it gets complicated, right? As Holden desperately searches for this authentic, peaceful world, he has this crushing realization. It doesn't exist. This quote sounds like pure despair, but it's also a huge clue for us. What if his obsession with everyone else's phoniness is really about a fight he's having inside himself? And boom, here it is, the great irony of this whole book. Holden Caulfield, the kid who hates fakeness more than anything, is a massive liar himself. He lies constantly. He uses it like a shield to get through the very world he says he despises. In his own weird way, he's a master phony.
I mean, the evidence is everywhere. He makes up a name, Rudolf Schmidt. He invents a brain tumor for sympathy. He literally plans to pretend to be a deaf mute just so he doesn't have to talk to people. He even admits to giving a big phony handshake. You see, his war against phoniness isn't some noble crusade. It's messy, it's personal, and it's deeply hypocritical. He hates the game, but man, he just can't stop playing it.
Okay, so if hating phonies is the symptom, what's the actual disease? Well, to find that answer, we need to go back in time, into what we're calling his Museum of the Mind. It's a place where grief has basically frozen him solid.
Holden absolutely loves the Museum of Natural History. Why? One simple reason. It never, ever changes. The displays are the same as they were when he was a little kid. And this isn't just him being nostalgic. This is a desperate cry for a world that's stable, that's predictable, and that's safe from the pain of things changing. Just think about that for a second. For a kid who has been through a devastating loss, the idea of a world perfectly preserved behind glass, that's paradise. It's a world where nothing and no one can ever be taken away from you again. Everything is just as it should be forever.
And the most important exhibit in Holden's personal museum is this, his brother Allie's baseball mitt. Allie died of leukemia, and this mitt, it's covered in poems Allie wrote in green ink so he wouldn't get bored in the outfield. It's so much more than a memory. It's like a holy relic to Holden.
And this, right here, is where it all clicks into place. The museum and the mitt. They represent the exact same thing to Holden. They are both perfectly preserved pieces of a happier time. A time before the trauma, before loss, before the world got so phony.
The mitt holds everything Holden cherishes, the innocence of baseball, the unique brilliance of his brother, and the unbearable fact of his death. So, when Holden is out there, raging against phony adults, what he's really fighting against is the relentless march of time that keeps pulling him further and further away from a world where his brother Allie was still alive.
So, this brings us to the absolutely devastating result of Holden's worldview. His grief, his war on phonies. It all traps him in a prison of his own making, a prison of deep, painful loneliness, symbolized by one single, unmade phone call.
20 minutes. Just let that sink in. That's how long Holden stands inside a phone booth, just aching for some kind of human connection. He thinks of a whole list of people to call, but for every single one, he finds a reason not to. He's afraid of being rejected, of being misunderstood. He's so lonely, but his own fear keeps him that way.
At the same time all this is happening, he keeps asking cab drivers this totally bizarre question about the ducks in Central Park. On the surface, it seems so random, right? But it's not. It's anything but random. This question is the other side of the coin to his struggle in that phone booth.
And here's the connection. The phone booth and the ducks, they're about the same thing. The unmade phone call is his failed attempt to connect with people he knows. The question about the ducks, that's his failed attempt to get guidance from total strangers on how to survive in a cold, harsh world.
So you see the dilemma. On the inside, his fear stops him from reaching out. And on the outside, when he does try to ask for help, even in this weird metaphorical way, the adult world just shrugs and dismisses him. The ducks are a symbol for Holden himself. He's a vulnerable kid facing a frozen, hostile winter. And he's just wondering where he's supposed to go to be safe. And nobody can give him an answer.
So, after going through Holden's pretty painful journey, what can we actually take away from all this? Well, there are 3 really powerful lessons here that I think we can apply to our own lives.
First, audit your authenticity. Let's be real, we all act a little phony sometimes to fit in. Think about one area where you do that and just ask yourself, what's one small thing I could do to be a bit more genuine? Second, acknowledge your museums. What are you holding on to from the past that might be keeping you stuck? Just recognizing it is a huge first step. And third, and this is a big one, make the call. Unlike Holden, don't let overthinking paralyze you. Think of that one person you've been meaning to connect with and just do it.
And that leaves us with one final, kinda uncomfortable question, doesn't it? In order to survive in this complicated world, is being just a little bit phony not just something that happens, but maybe something we all have to do? Definitely something to think about.
Holden's journey is such a powerful reminder that behind even the most cynical person, there's usually a deep need for connection. If you found this analysis helpful, please hit that like button and subscribe to Summed Up Books for more deep dives. To explore Holden's world for yourself, you can grab a copy of the book using the link in the description below. It really helps support the channel. You can also get it for free with an Audible trial, also linked below. Click, learn, repeat. We'll see you in the next summary.